action. What up, people? Today we're gonna talk about your first film. Rumena and I were conversing about it and thinking, what was it like? What should we tell people about it? Today we're gonna talk about your first film. What is first film? Well, in a nutshell, you pick up a camera and you start shooting. Don't worry about anything. Just stretch your arm and try to grab any recording device, like film recording device, turn the camera on and just go outside and start filming. That's your first film. Doesn't matter what you film. Film whatever you're attracted to. You see something, you start filming it. So that's the basic idea of your first film. Think of your camera as the jewelry box. So you put the precious gems and precious rings and precious jewelry in your box that you are attracted to. You pick it from anywhere, from your home, from outside, wherever you would go. Just go there and pick things that you the most enjoy and record them and film them. So that's the basic idea. The more advanced idea of your first film is actually to have a story that you can share with others and people can relate to. So how do you do it? Well, first you find something that you're passionate about and kind of go from there. Think of the little things that inspire you, the people that inspire you, the events that inspire you, the situations that inspire you, and even genres of movies that inspire you, like comedy, drama, and so on. I can talk a lot about what the first film can be, but let's hear from Rumikay and let's hear what else can be important for your first film.
Well, of course, when making any movie, there's always time pressure for some reason, but I think that's a great thing, honestly, because it really sets you in the mood for working, finding the locations, finding the actors, basically solving your problems that occur. So time pressure is a great thing to have, even though it can be stressful and it can really piss you off. It is really helpful because it will set you in a working mode to focus and make that film happen. Like Konstantin said, you can grab any recording device. You can write a movie with one actor, find the camera or use your phone and say, okay, we're going to shoot it this weekend in our apartment. It's going to be basically like a one scene with one actor and make it happen. And really, that's all it takes. I mean, of course, everyone wants to think that you really need big budgets or a crazy set designs and stories and stuff to make a wonderful award-winning film. No, you don't need to. You just need to have a good story. And it doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be something very epic. It can be very simple. It can be done on your phone and still turn out great if you know how to use the tools of storytelling. What would you recommend, Konstantin?
When you make your first film, focus on having fun. That's it. That's the only thing that you need to focus on. Focus on having fun, because this is your first film that you're going to remember for years. And it's better to remember something good about it and not how bad it was. So focus on having fun. Nobody expects you to make a movie that will win an Oscar or earn hundreds of millions of dollars. Just make a movie that you would enjoy to watch and focus on having fun. Don't be a dictator. Focus on having fun. Enjoy. Find a team of people that you could work with. Usually it's going to be your friends, or find people who are interested in film and they will become your friends through the film. You have no idea how bonding a filmmaking experience can be. You find random people who are interested in making films, genuinely interested in making films, and then you work with them for a day together, all day. You eat together, you film together, you eat together again, and then maybe edit together. And you learn more about people, and you spend the whole day with them and become closer to them. Yeah, that's inevitable. If you weren't good, if there was a bad mood on the set, then yeah, you might not be able to become friends. But if everything was great and you were having fun, we'll become friends and probably will make movies in the future, which is the most important thing. And now we're going to give example of the films that Rumena and I made. And let's start with you, Rumikay. What was the first movie, let's say narrative movie, that you made?
I guess the first narrative movie that I made was the actual first film exercise in film school. It was called a mise en scène project, which comes from French, and it basically means setting up the scene, the stage design, how you're going to set up the actors and everything in this scene, you know, kind of in theater when you set up the whole stage. So how are you going to set everything up in the shot? And we filmed it on 16 millimeter film, which was my first experience working with film camera, which is actually even more stressful because, you know, in digital camera, you can actually see what you're filming. In film camera, you have no idea what you're filming. You're just hoping that you loaded the film well and that whoever is the cinematographer caught what you want from the film. So it was one shot. We just had the camera tilting up and down. So from the table, down the table, and up. And there were two characters on the table, which were a mother and a daughter. And at the time, of course, I just started. We were a 4-people crew. I just assigned randomly what everyone is going to do, not knowing what their skill set are from before. And I didn't have actors. So I asked my mom to be my actor and my friend Helen, which was hilarious because my mom obviously is white and Helen is a Chinese girl, and they were mother and daughter in the movie. So it sort of didn't make sense, but I explained it as, look, she was adopted, you know? But so it was a very fun experience for me, honestly, because I felt that excitement of, okay, I am making a movie. And like, you know, when you write the title of the movie on your slate, it just feels so amazing that you're finally directing something. What about your first film?
So the first film that I made was a film that I shot with a camera that I could reach my hand to, which was a mini DV camera. It has like little cassettes that you insert. And I just started kind of figuring out what I can do with it. And the reason that I decided to do that is because I was sick. I had like a fever and I couldn't leave home. And I was just kind of sitting at home and like, what can I do? And I didn't have a computer at that time, or a phone. You know, there was no technology except maybe TV that I could use. So I was like, okay, let's do something. Let's do something fun. As I started filming, as I filmed first few shots, I realized, okay, well, let's do this. What if I play the characters in this movie that I film? All right, so one character gonna be a sad character, and then another character gonna be like a happy character who gonna come to him and inspire him to overcome that sadness. And so this idea just came out of my mind by shooting a sink, you know, and shooting a refrigerator. I don't know how is it connected, but because I just shot those two shots in my mind, okay, let's have this story. So now I had some kind of story in my mind and I started to film other things, including me. So I dressed up in as with a sad character dress in my imagination. So I put some old clothes from my mother and I became a sad character. So I started playing and recording at the same time. I didn't have any tripod, for God's sake. I just put some books together on a chair and tried to figure out how to angle camera the right way. And I had that flip screen so I could turn it my side and then see what's happening. So I filmed myself. Then I changed into another character, a very slick character. So I put a suit, I put a tie, and I combed my hair and recorded that. And then I started putting together different scenes, like different reactions, different words that the character would say. And then the culmination, the climax of the movie is a dance sequence when a sad character dances a sad dance, and then the happy character dances a happy dance, and how the sad character realizes through dance that he actually can be happy. So that was my first shooting experience. And during that experience, I realized that, well, you can actually shoot movie yourself, and you can act in it as well. You can shoot it without a screenplay. And then I was editing it at my computer using an old Windows computer, and there was a program, Windows Movie Maker. So I was editing it forever. and it was exporting all night. Like a simple sequence was exporting the entire night. And I made a cut. I showed my family. They liked it, as they will. And your family will like probably everything that you do. So it's not finished yet because the audience hasn't seen it yet. So I figured, okay, how can I show it to someone without embarrassing myself to death? And my friend, a few weeks later, reached out to me and said, hey, do you have any films by any chance that you could give us? We have this little festival that we started with our parents and friends. And like, yeah, I have a film. I just made the film. Yeah, I can submit it. And I sent it to them. And then another week later, I get an invitation to the festival. And the movie gets screened on the big screen, like a projector. It's not like a movie theater, but it's a theater. There is a projector, there's a big screen, and there's an audience that I don't know except for one friend that invited me to that place. And there are other filmmakers, there are other films. And so I watch other films, I watch my film, and when my film pops up, it was so embarrassing because I never showed my work to anyone, like any type of work except like homework for school. And I was just, oh my god, I just can't. I wanted really to leave the room and spare the embarrassment. But as the movie went along, there were some reactions. The people laughing, some people were like, oh, or like, haha, or like something short, something long. So audience was reacting to the film, and it's the best kind of thing that you can get from screening your films, that the audience get reactions to the things that you thought that gonna exude some sort of reaction. And then the other festivals, there was like voting and stuff, blah blah blah. And eventually when the winners were announced that night, with this film that I shot just by myself in my room while I was sick and acted in it and wrote and edited and everything, it won the best editing award, the best actor award, and the best film award. I was so happy. I think that moment I realized that, okay, I want to pursue making films. And that started the journey of making films.
And how old were you when this happened?
Somewhere around 13, I think. 13. Yeah. 13 years old or something around there.
Experience.
Yeah, that experience is insane. And I wish everyone to do that, because once you make the film, once you shoot this film yourself with the camera that you reach with your hand, make sure that you get it to the audience. Embarrass yourself. It will pass, because it will motivate you to become better. Because even though it had some reaction, it wasn't like a super professional festival. It was like a friendly festival. But still, I saw so many things that were wrong that I was embarrassed about. Some people maybe didn't even notice that, who are not filmmakers. But I was so embarrassed them that I decided, okay, I need to do this this for my next film. So this is why it's important to screen your films, because it gives you an idea how to become a better filmmaker with your next film.
Before my first film, before film school, we would always want to, when I had guests over, my girlfriends over, I always wanted to play reenactment games, like react like it's a show or something. So we actually made a music video together, which was made on our very old phones. I don't even know what it was, like a black and white phone, and with a 2-pixel camera, and we like filmed something. And now when thinking back at it, we like edited it, but we didn't know, like I didn't know anything about editing. I just kind of found a way to put it together and cut it together and learn on my own. And it's very interesting because like everyone watches movies, right? And it's sort of like, I feel like everyone has that natural instinct to make a movie or to edit a movie, to put together a movie after watching a bunch of films. So yes, everyone who feels that they want to try making a film, honestly, you can try it. Just try it with your phone. You can even make something. It doesn't even have to be with people, honestly. You can try doing some stop motion, or even with some dolls or something, It's really possible if you use your creativity and imagination.
Make sure to have fun. That's the most
Yes.
important thing. Have fun, enjoy. Don't worry about anything. Don't need a film school, don't need online film school, don't need film books, don't need anything. Just pick up the camera and shoot and show yourself. Show who you are through what you see through the camera.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move to the obsession of the week. Rumki, what is your obsession of the week?
Well, my obsession of the week is the show Physical, which is a show on Apple TV Plus. And this show is a wonderful show that you actually recommended to me first.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to catch up with season 1 so we can watch season 2 together.
I can wait to watch season 2 with you, yeah.
Yes. So it's about a housewife in the 70s, I believe, that she's really unhappy with her body. She has an eating disorder. So please, everyone, be warned that this stroke can be quite triggering because of the way she looks at herself and the way she talks to herself and her eating habits. And that was also triggering for me to watch because I get that people deal with this, and it's so important if you really deal with something like this to seek help. But basically, because of her eating disorder and just the way she's unhappy with life, she gets really into fitness and decides to start her own fitness business, sort of like the Jane Fonda fitness tapes. And I just love it. It's really fun. Yeah, so I highly recommend that show. Check it out. What about you, Konstantin? What is your obsession of the week?
My obsession of the week is finally related to films. And it is the American Cinematographer magazine. It's not necessarily obsession of the week, but the new issue came earlier this week, so now it became my obsession. The cinematographer is the person on set who basically is responsible for everything visual, and sometimes referred as God. But don't get too excited. He is responsible for the visual picture that you see in the screen. And some people can say that they make the films, but making films is a teamwork. So there is always other people. And there are 3 key people usually on set. Is the director, the cinematographer, and the production designer. And there's other important positions that are responsible for the visual of the movie. But the 3 most important visual positions during the production is the production designer, director, and cinematographer. So when you pick up the crew, this is the key position that you have to have from the beginning, so then you can design the visuals of your film as best as you can. And those 3 people have to constantly work together, so their visions do not fight each other, but work in symbiosis. So American Cinematographer basically is the magazine that interviews the top cinematographers in the world and shares cool tips, new tools, new equipment, new gear that they use on their films. And it's very inspiring because when you read the interviews from this magazine, you understand that those people, directors, cinematographers, production designers, they have the same problems that we have on small sets, but just on a larger scale. But they're similar, and they always have problems. And it's inevitable to always have problems because filmmaking is a problem-solving adventure, and you have to remember that. There is always something to deal with. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a plan. You should always have a plan, but when you come on set and you have a plan, then it's easier to go freestyle, to improvise. But if you come and you don't have a plan and you improvise, it's just gonna be very bad work. And this American cinematographer inspires you and shows you how it's done on the top scale, how they talk, what terminology they use, what recent lights they use, or how they use the cheapest possible lights on the most expensive sets. You know, like a regular light bulb or a candle light, which look, if you use your skills and knowledge of light and lenses and cameras, you can make it look incredibly beautiful. And not just beautiful, but important to the story, because that's what it's all about. Because if you just make beautiful shots, it's going to be a music video or something like a commercial or anything that doesn't have a storyline. But when you make narrative films, that's why it's very important to have the collaborative experience with director, production designer, and cinematographer, because you are telling a specific story. And every choice that you make, the color, the texture, the design, the cameras, the lenses, everything has to serve the story. It's great. And also it has all the names of the people, cinematographers that you learn, and then you can go and on Instagram or whatever and DM them and ask them questions, which I did a few times, and they answered, like which lens or filter you used in that film, or which camera in that film, or like how did you make this choice for this particular scene in that particular show. It could be very interesting, engaging, and exciting. So I highly recommend to subscribe. I don't have any affiliation with it. I just love this magazine. So go try it out.
Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to another episode of Rumikay Talks. See you next Friday with a new episode. Have a good one.